In Lagos here, proceedings concluded today at the Magistrate Court in Shagamu in case involving Adeniyi Kayode, is the driver to British-Nigerian boxing champion Anthony Joshua. Kayode is facing a 4-count charge bordering on manslaughter, recklessness, negligence, and driving without a valid license following that fatal crash on December 29, 2025. The court session commenced at exactly 9 a.m. with the case listed first on the docket. Police prosecutor Richard Njue told the court that the case file has been forwarded to the Director of Public Prosecutions through the State Attorney General, the DPP, Kadri. He confirmed that legal advice had been submitted, although the presiding judge noted it has yet to receive it by the court. Journalists were excused from further proceedings as the DPP sought a date to take over the trial. The matter was adjourned until March 17, with Defense Counsel Olaleko Abiodun expressing satisfaction with the progress made. News Central fully covered this, and our correspondent Ni Omoni right now joins me also in the studio to dissect more and get more clarity concerning this, because he saw this firsthand, followed this firsthand. Ni, thank you so much for joining me on the show. It's time for me to get clarity around this, because all that happened on December 29, 2025, we had the United Kingdom watching because of how they followed British-Nigerian boxing champion Anthony Joshua. Yes, he lost 2 of his friends. May their soul rest in perfect peace. But at the moment, all eyes are on this case. Ni, given that the Director of Public Prosecutions has indicated readiness to take over the case, but the court is yet to receive the formal legal advice, what indications are there about how quickly the DPP may proceed with this case?
Well, I'd like to first start by, I think this is my maiden edition on the show. Yeah. So thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
I feel like a sport journalist already.
You're welcome.
Okay, but back to the main issue. It's not peculiar that you see the Department of Public Prosecution take over a case. However, most times what they do is they just offer legal advice to the prosecuting counsel, and of course the prosecuting counsel takes over from there. But just as the counsel to the defendant mentioned in this particular case, it seems the state is interested in this case, and that is why there's a total takeover by the Department of Public Prosecution. You can see on your screen, that's the woman representing the Department of Public Prosecution. Not this, the woman earlier, she's representing that department, and that's the counsel to the defendant on your screen there, and the person of Olaleko. And we were trying to quiz him, are you okay with the level, with how the case has gone so far? Because the last time this case was in court, back in January, the police prosecutor at the time mentioned, and that's the driver just behind, if you can see him on, yes, this one on black and striped shirt. Okay. And he mentioned that the police prosecutor at the time back then wanted to get legal advice from the DPP before proceeding, because the 4-count charge we're talking about here carry very heavy penalties. Manslaughter, for example, has the life sentence penalty on it, and recklessness, I think about 7 years. The negligence has its own. I think the minimal one there is that of driving without a driver's license, which carries, I think, a 10,000 naira fine, I believe. And so he is happy that at least now the DPP has shown interest in the case, and they've moved from where they are to somewhere else. But for now, the fact that the judge has not received the legal document does not actually signify anything. It's just normal due court process. Okay. The DPP transfers the legal advice to the legal office, which is like the registry. The registry notes it, documents it, then of course sends it to the judge so that he can have, she or he in this case, the court judge is he, can have a copy of the legal advice, so that when the next proceeding starts, he's not just hearing it, he's also seeing it, that this is the advice. Then, of course, the court can gather more evidence, cross-examination, depending on what it deemed fit to go ahead with the case.
All right, Nia, quickly, I know you've been able to break things down, but did the defense, when you quizzed him or even the prosecution, did they signal any possible changes to the charges? Because when we saw those charges levied against Kayode, we felt like, oh, this was just too much. Also noting that the family of Anthony Joshua have said they're not ready to press any charges against him. Did they signal any possible changes to the charges levied against the driver?
For now, from all indication, no. Okay. All the charges still stand. What will happen if there will be an amendment to the charges depends on what the DPP's direction will be from the next court case. But I'm having a feeling, if I'm to speak, I'm having a feeling that if the DPP decides to take this and they want to call witnesses and they want to call a whole lot of, gather more evidence, maybe they might have to call Anthony Joshua to the stands. I don't know if he'll be available physically, but of course maybe have a representative in court standing for him because he is the only witness on ground at the time. So there's still a lot of gray areas to this. Nothing can be said, and I don't want to preempt the court for now until March 17, when we know what direction the DPP is taking, and of course when we have access to this legal advice. But that might be also difficult when it comes to March 17 because we were chased out of the court today. All journalists were asked to exit the court. I was picked out first anyways. So we don't know how that will go, but of course we'll keep our fingers crossed and also try to get information from inside the court and make sure that we get the latest updates once the next hearing comes.
Even if you were kicked out first, we're happy that you were able to get all this information to give us clarity on it. Thank you so much, Adeniyi or Moni. Thank you for joining us on In the Game.
Thank you for having me.